Today I'm taking you on a tour of my Homestead Herbal Apothecary, the herbs and the tools I like to store for myself and my family. We're not going to do any deep diving today, so keep in mind I'm not sharing every single property of every herb. I'm not sharing every use of every herb either. I am going to just highlight some of the common uses or ways that I personally use them. Disclaimer: not a medical professional. I'm not a clinical herbalist. I have no certifications, knocking things here. I do consider myself my own family's herbalist. I have educated myself. I have done the research. I have gleaned as much information as I can from herbalists who are the real deal and all of the resources that I have accessible to me. And I have taken a few courses and I plan to continue my education. But with that said, my purpose here in this video is not really to do a whole lot of teaching, just to share some herbal inspiration, encourage you that you too can do this for your own family, for your own health. I want you to think for yourself. I want you to become a researcher. It's not hard at all. Don't let any of it scare you. You do want to have some understanding, know what to look out for. You don't want to go into it blindly, right? I think something that's super wise is if you were to educate yourself on how the body works, how all of our systems work together. That is helpful. Watch out for contraindications. Always check to see if you're on a certain medication or if you have a certain condition that the herb you're considering taking won't negatively affect that. That information is out there. It's not hard to find. Watch out for allergies. If you have allergies to a certain plant group, make sure you're not looking to use an herb in that plant group. Be careful if you're pregnant and nursing, things like that. Don't let any of it scare you. The resources are out there. I'm gonna share some books that include all of that information. I'll share some of my favorite herbalists, some courses that I have taken and that I enjoyed. So you can look for all of that down in the description. But without further ado, let's get into what I store in my Homestead Herbal Apothecary. So I use this antique hutch here to house all my herbs. I store in mason jars. I will label the lids, or I have tags on some as well just to keep everything straight. I do grow some of my own herbs in my garden, but I can't grow everything, so I will source online. It is very important to source organic herbs. I will purchase from Star West Botanicals, Frontier Co-op, and Pacific Botanicals. On occasion, I have purchased from Mountain Rose Herbs as well if I can't find what I'm looking for in the other three. Don't be intimidated by what I have behind me. This is probably way more than I should have and what the average home apothecary would need. I got a little carried away. So I just find it all really intriguing, super interesting, and I will go and research something and be like, oh man, that sounds really cool. I need to have that in my apothecary. Or this would be great for my dad, or this is good for my husband. Let's throw it in. And it spiraled and this happened. So if you are familiar with chicken math or garden math or any of the other homesteading maths, let it be known. Herbal math is a thing too. So don't be scared by this. You don't need all of this. And I don't know, I might share each thing, or I might just share some of the more common things that I think would be good in a home apothecary, but you do your research and figure out what is best for your family. Don't feel like as I'm naming these things, you need to go and add it to your cart. Don't do that. Pick a few different ailments that you want to have herbs to help with. If you are just looking for things to support the immune system to help with like cold and flu season, if you need help with gut health or perhaps, like blood sugar issues, choose a few ailments, find a few herbs that work for those ailments, and then just learn them well. Don't go buying a whole bunch of herbs. Also, don't feel like you need to memorize every detail of every herb. If you are not someone that is practicing herbalism on a daily basis, if you're not like helping clients or applying it constantly, I know me personally, I'm not going to remember all of the things. Then I have to constantly be doing things for it, to retain that information. So don't feel bad about having to go and check your resources for dosage or certain properties that you couldn't remember about a specific herb. I've got my notes today. There are some things that I just totally remember now, and other things I had to go and check my resources. So I am working with my notes today. So first up, marshmallow root, mucilage, so mucus. It will line, it will coat. It'll coat if you have a sore throat or if you have a dry cough. It'll line your stomach, your bowels if you've got some digestive upset happening. It'll also help with dry skin. Next up, mullein. It'll focus there. So mullein, I use for all things respiratory. It's an expectorant, so it helps loosen things up. I will use this with the marshmallow root. If I've got a lot of stuff in my lungs, I need to get it out. I'm dealing with a sore throat and a cough. Those two work fantastic together. What else do I have written down here? Oh, I use it for ear infections. So I will infuse some oil with some garlic and some mullein. You can put that in the ear as long as there's no perforation of the eardrum. Don't put it in your ear if that's going on. It also doesn't help with swimmer's ear, just ear infection. And I also will like rub it behind the ear as well. Definitely helpful for those things. This is something I think everyone needs in their apothecary. And like I said, I'm just highlighting not all of the uses here. Next up, we've got milky oat tops. I'm really proud of this one because I grew it myself. This is my excess. I made a tincture from it fresh when I harvested it. That's the way to get the most benefits from it, but dried is fine too. So this is Avena sativa. It is the plant that makes your oatmeal. So these are the oat tops. These are in what is called the milky stage. So they secrete a milky white substance. It's very, very nourishing, lots of minerals in it. This is an adaptogenic herb, so think it'll help you adapt. It's great for stress, anxiety, nervous system type disorders. It helps regulate. And what else do I have here? It can help with MS and any like hyperactive type issues as well. Powerhouse. Licorice root, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, demulcent, great for stomach ulcers. It'll soothe the lining, supports the liver, adrenal function, kidneys, all sorts of things. What else do I have here? And can also help with sore throat. Another powerhouse of an herb. I've used this a lot for my own gut health journey. These next two I used in my gut healing journey. I had issues with my gallbladder, gallstones, my liver not working the greatest, so I used fringe tree bark there and meadowsweet there. Both very helpful. The fringe tree is going to help dissolve those stones. It increases bile flow, which is very important to gut health. What else do I have written down here? Just gastric issues, helps with ulcers. The meadowsweet contains salicin, which is similar to aspirin, so it's going to help with reducing pain and inflammation. It also contains silica, which is good for joints and connective tissues. So definitely two things to consider, look into if you have any of those issues. Peppermint is another one I used for tummy issues. It's antispasmodic, so it will just calm things down a bit in there, especially if you're dealing with a stomach upset. It also tastes really good, and I like to use it to flavor other teas because you'll find not all herbs taste the greatest, but I like the taste of peppermint. It'll also help reduce pain, and it's just great for tummy issues all around. Astragalus root. So it looks like there. So this is going to help strengthen the immune system, helps fight infections, good for cold and flu season. It's also good for heart health, and there is some studies shown that it can help with asthma as well. Andrographis. This one didn't make it into a mason jar yet. I have been using this as a preventative. I've been putting it in capsules. So it is going to stimulate your immune system. It's going to keep it on guard, helps prevent all of the sickies coming on here this cold and flu season. It's also really good for sinus infections, which I am prone to, so this was a must for me. It can help also with pneumonia and hepatitis and parasites. Echinacea, I don't have it here in my cabinet, but I do keep it in capsules in my other medicine cabinet, and I grow it in my garden. It's a beautiful flower. You might know it as coneflower. So echinacea helps fight infection. It's antibacterial, has antiviral properties, also antifungal. So I would take that. The first sign of getting something, I take it for like 5 to 7 days, and it would usually nip it in the bud, which is awesome. Next is elderberry. Another one you're probably very familiar with. There's some elderberries in there. I grow this as well, but it hasn't produced enough yet. Obviously this one's good for supporting the immune system, helps strengthen it to fight off things. I like to make elderberry syrup with this. You can also use elderflower. A little bit different there, so research that. Yarrow, I don't have any up here. I think it must be down in my overflow. I do grow it in my garden. Not all yarrow is medicinal, so do your research there. Make sure if you are growing it, you're growing the medicinal kind. Yarrow has this really cool ability to just do what the body needs. It can bring on bleeding, or it can stop bleeding based on what the body needs. So if you have an open wound and you're needing to stop that blood flow, you can make a poultice, mash it up, stick it on the wound. It'll stop that bleeding. Great for in the first aid kit. I know some midwives will carry it in their kit too, but it can also bring on bleeding if that's what the body needs. Think of menstruation if there is a need for that. Also helps reduce fever. It can help with healing wounds, bruises, and sprains as well. Black walnut. This one here, Black Walnut Hull, is another powerhouse. I'm going to read some of these things off to you. Great for abscesses of any kind, blood sugar health, good for infections, fungal issues. It's a blood purifier. This is great for teeth and gum health. I use this in a dental tincture. I've shared before, I've always had some issues with my teeth. This stuff is great for that. It's also an antiparasitic. I use this in my anti-parasite tincture. I know parasites sound gross. We don't want to think about them, but we all have them, and it's better out than in, I say. So maybe at some point, if you want to know about the anti-parasite, I will share that with you. So this one I use in that, and then this one might be a little bit controversial. You want to use it carefully for short periods of time. It can be toxic. That is wormwood. And if you notice there in the scientific name that you might notice something, a word you recognize, absinthium. If you have ever heard of the alcohol called absinthe, it's made with this stuff. This I have on hand literally just for parasites. That's put in my parasite tincture. So I've got wormwood, spilanthes, or the toothache plant. It has anesthetic type properties, so it eases pain, also reduces inflammation. You can use it for a sore throat. You can make like a gargle with it. It's also good if you ever have a toothache. Obviously, it's called the toothache plant. Don't underestimate the herbs you think of as culinary, like oregano, rosemary, thyme, sage, basil. All have great uses. I'm not going to go in detail on all of those. I've got oregano here right now that I grew in my garden. This one is great for infections of all kinds. It's also antiseptic. I have used this on the tooth infection before just to help there until I could go out and get that addressed. I will take this more of a last resort. You should use it sparingly. It's very, very powerful. It can upset oral and gut microbiome. If you have, like, let's just say ulcers, like colitis type thing, it's spicy. So it can cause some digestive upset there. So use it sparingly, use it wisely. Don't confuse oil of oregano. That's what you want to use, oil of oregano, not essential oil oregano. Totally different. Lavender. This one is very well known. So this one is probably always thought of as just like calming and soothing, relaxing, but it's got way more to it than just that. Yes, it's all those things. It's also antifungal, antibacterial, antiseptic. So lots of good uses. It's good for tummy issues, can settle things down, as well as skin issues. A lot of times people infuse that into like lotions and moisturizers and salves, balms, all sorts of things there for the skin. But to go along with that calming herb, we'll do chamomile. Next, this I grew in my garden as well. So obviously very calming, soothing. It's good to help encourage sleep. It just relaxes you. It helps settle an upset tummy. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps with anxiety and stress, and also good for skin as well. We'll keep going with some more calming herbs. We're going to talk about passion flower. Come on there, focus. I love this stuff. It is a beautiful flowering vine. I did grow it this year, so perhaps you caught that in one of my gardening videos. This has so many great uses. I love this one. I love milky oat tops. I use them a lot for just stress and helping my nervous system calm down, helping me sleep better at night. So this one is a nerve vine, so think nervous system regulation, helps reduce tension, can help with tension headaches, promotes sleep and calming of the mind. If you're someone that wakes up with racing thoughts or you can't fall asleep because you have racing thoughts, this perhaps would be a good one for you to look into. It'll also help calm muscle twitching and spasms. Great herb. Another calming herb, lemon balm. There. This one is going to help calm and regulate the nervous system as well. It's a digestive aid, so good for tummy upset. It'll help with restlessness, as well as help promote sleep. Another one you've probably heard before, and that is calendula, very popular. This one has antifungal, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic properties. It's cleansing. It helps with cleansing the lymph, flushing that all out. Can help with gut issues because of all those properties. It can moderate a fever. Can help with skin issues, burns, and scrapes. I like to use this in salves, but also in teas. Horsetail here. This one is going to promote healthy bones, hair, nails, and teeth. Promotes skin elasticity, so this one is a bit more of a beauty herb, but I also take this for teeth health. I will make like a blend of things for strengthening the teeth. Another one that goes along with that here is alfalfa leaf. There. Very rich in minerals. It's going to help strengthen the bones, can help detox, helps with fluid retention, arthritis, balancing blood sugar. It can also help with allergies and hormonal changes, so think like menopause. Raspberry leaves, red raspberry leaves here, I grabbed from my plants earlier this spring. Great for hormone health, hormone regulation. Tulsi or holy basil, another adaptogenic herb, so it'll help with stress. It'll also help promote energy, among other things. Stinging nettle, I grow that in my garden. It's actually kind of invasive, and you can probably find it foraging out and about, but nettle is great for reproductive health, balancing hormones in general. It's very nourishing, rich in minerals, can help with PMS, increasing energy. It can help with allergies, scalp and hair issues. It can also help with hair loss, regulating blood pressure. Has anti-inflammatory properties in there as well, so powerhouse of an herb. Okay, down here we got some supplies and some more herbs. I've got burdock here. This you can find foraging pretty easily, but I went and I sourced some online because it wasn't the proper time of year to go and find it. Great for kidney and liver health, skin, lymphatic flow, digestion, wounds, infections, reduces swelling, a whole bunch of uses there. Vitex berry powder or chaste berry. This is great for regulating female hormones. I make a tincture out of this. Wild cherry bark. This one I got to make a cough syrup with. It's an astringent, helps with coughs, helps expel phlegm. It dries out mucuses. It can also be helpful with allergies. What do we got here? Skullcap. calms the mind, insomnia, again, like the others, stress reliever, helps with tension, headaches, and any feelings of overstimulation. Mothers of young children, overstimulation. These are just some overflow down here of ones I've already discussed. What are you? We got bone set. So I did grow bone set this year, but not enough to put up and have for use. So I did grab some here. This is going to make you perspire, bring on a sweat, so it can be helpful in regulating a fever. It stimulates white blood cell count, so it's going to activate your immune system. Great for flus with body aches and coughing. That one, have that one, elderberries, astragalus, golden seal. This is a heavy hitter. It's a natural antibiotic. I have used this for some gut issues to help clear some things out. I use this in an anti-parasite tincture. I've used this for a tooth infection before. So it's a great natural antibiotic, good for infections. It is super, super bitter, super nasty. So don't be making teas with this. I either do tincture or capsules. Some things I keep down here for tincture making, I keep the little dropper tops and these little amber glass bottles. I can link where I get mine. And then those are, I believe, 1 ounce or 2, I think those are 2 ounce. And then I have these 4 ounce ones here. And I also, for salves, I keep these little amber containers as well for any salves, balms, ointments, that sort of stuff. Some other things I keep in live form. Aloe vera, great for wounds, burns, any skin irritations. You can just pop one of these off and get the goo out of the inside and apply where needed. Something most of us probably have in our yard is dandelion root. Dandelion root is great for liver and kidney health. It's going to detox. It's going to flush everything out. It's a mild diuretic. It's a bitter, so it encourages bile flow, stimulates the bile flow, very important in gut health. So I will keep dandelion root, but I also purchased this Dandy Blend drink. It is dandelion root and chicory root. It does also have barley extract and rye extract in it. Tastes very similar to coffee. No caffeine though, but if you are looking for a warm drink that resembles coffee, doesn't give you any of the jitters. I sometimes get super shaky and I get anxious, racing thoughts whenever I have caffeine, but I really like a warm drink in the morning. Try this Dandy Blend. Comfrey is something I keep. I grow it in my garden. It is a healer. It will heal wounds and scars. It can help with bones, burns, hemorrhoids, colitis. It should not be used on things that are infected because people have seen it heal so rapidly on the outside, it can trap an infection inside. So comfrey is definitely an interesting one to read up on. Something else I do have is poke root. I just make a tincture out of it. So you have to be careful there, something to use in moderation, very small dosage. It can be very toxic, but if used in small doses over a short period of time, it can totally cleanse your lymphatic system. It can also be helpful with Lyme's and breast cancer and mastitis. So that's one of those herbs you need to do your research on and make sure you're using it properly, but it is very useful in certain cases. If you are also dealing with Lyme's, another one you might want to research is called Teasel. I don't have that one here, but definitely look into that if you struggle with Lyme's. I could go on and on. I'm gonna stop myself now, but it is just amazing to me, all of these plants and how they can benefit us. And things we don't even think of that we're using on the daily, like culinary herbs, garlic and onions, turmeric and ginger. So many amazing benefits there. Weeds out in our garden, things we can forage for. We've got tons of chickweed and cleavers, plantain, red clover, self-heal, goldenrod, wild violet, at the ready just outside my back door. Down along the way here, a lot of our backcountry roads have the multiflora roses. Just go and grab some rose hips for some vitamin C over the winter. Just so many amazing things, and it gets me really excited. But I'm gonna stop myself. I am gonna share with you some of my favorite herbal books now, some good resources to get you started. First book, Mountain Medicine, Darryl Patton, Tommy Bass. The first part of the book here is a lot about Tommy Bass, his history, his experience, how he used herbs to help those around him, different practical applications, fun stories. And then towards the back here, get to some, there's like herb profiles. So let me find it better. It will give you what it, let me make sure I'm getting it in the frame, what it is, the scientific name, the common name, parts used, traditional uses here, and then some more application, dosage, those sorts of things there. So whole bunch of information in here. You can see we have lots of little tabbies. We love this book. Always come back to it, refer to it. The Modern Herbal Dispensatory, a Medicine Making Guide. This one is amazing. Let me go to the contents here. We've got getting started, basic concepts, herbal preparations, using fresh plants, and then dried herbs, introduction to extractions, making basic extracts, advanced extraction, different preparations, aromatherapy, sample formulas, all sorts of stuff in here. And so it gives you all of the how-to knowledge. And then towards the back, it also gives you herb profiles here. Again, ways to apply them, their properties, some warnings, contraindications, all sorts of good knowledge. In this one, too, I refer to this one a lot. In this one, I don't think I said, Thomas Easley and Stephen Horn. There. I have all of Rachel Weaver's books. She's got Backyard Pharmacy, Be Your Own Doctor 1 and 2, and then she also has Be Your Child's Pediatrician. I have that loaned out to somebody right now. Backyard Pharmacy, I love this one. So in the beginning, we've got a whole bunch of different herbs here that she covers. She covers them in detail. So she will, let's just take one herb for example. This is alfalfa. Gives you the botanical name, common name, parts used, habitat, description, and then a bunch of uses there, more information on it, things it is useful for, how to prepare an alfalfa tea, more things it is used for there, breaking up kidney stones, hair loss and balding, allergies, useful for diabetics. Then she also includes some recipes in here. Truly leaves no stone unturned. Like, you will have all you need to know about these herbs and how to use them. She even includes some like for eating recipes, alfalfa sprouts and orange salad with tangy dressing. And then she always includes any precautions you need to take. So that's Backyard Pharmacy. Be Your Own Doctor 1 and 2 are going to include a whole bunch of different ailments. You can look them up here alphabetically and then turn to whichever one. So you needed help with cataracts, then you just read this whole section here and she will tell you what she knows for getting rid of cataracts. And then also on to celiac disease and other things you can do for that. So tons of information in these. I refer to these almost weekly, to be honest. The Herbal Medicine Maker's Handbook, a home manual by James Green. This one, I can't say I use this one quite as much, but still really great information in here. This one goes over few herbs, gardening and harvesting them. Let's see, the extraction process, solvents, forms of herbal medicine, infusion, decoction, distillation of hydrosols, flower essences, tincturing by maceration, percolation, wine infusion, vinegar infusion, glycerin infusion, like it just goes on and on. It has ointments, salves, and balms, syrups, oxymels, lots and lots of ways to use your herbs in here. So very detailed. This one, I don't really know why I don't grab this one as much. Maybe just because I've gotten so used to my other ones that I just instinctively go to them. But still, lots of good information in here. This one I picked up at Homesteaders of America last year, How to Grow Wild Medical Herbs and Create Herbal Remedies at Home. Wild Herb Gardening by Suzanne Shires. She works with Darryl Patton. I believe she's a student of his. So this book here, so we go back here, we'll just choose cayenne. It tells you its growing conditions, how to grow it, some helpful tips there, some of its uses here. And here. Contraindications. Nutrition and edible uses there, also some recipes and remedies. So this is another great book, especially if you're looking to grow some of your own in your garden. Lastly, I do have some books here by Rosemary Gladstar. This is Medicinal Herbs Beginner's Guide, learning about them, how to grow them, how to use them. This one here is just one of her little books for self-reliance, Herbs for Common Ailments. This one I would liken to the Be Your Own Doctor, but just not in quite as much detail and not as many ailments in here. So I would prefer the How to Be Your Own Doctor compared to that one personally. This one, Homemade Remedies, Herbal Recipes for Vibrant Health by Rosemary Gladstar. There are just so many recipes in here. It's great for different tea blends and tincture blends and even things for beauty. All sorts of useful information. Definitely another book to consider. Now you don't need a whole lot of tools to get started with this. Some things I would recommend would be a higher quality kitchen scale. I use a weighted ratio when making tinctures. That's very important. Some sort of strainer. You can buy actual tincture straining devices. That's a bit overkill if you're just doing this on a family scale. So I've just got this strainer here. You can also use cheesecloth, but when straining tinctures, you want to make sure you're getting all the goodness out. So definitely have some way to do that. Things like funnels for getting your prepared tincture into whatever you're storing it in, measuring cups, stainless steel bowls. What else do we need? You'll want, if you're making tinctures, I always keep vodka on hand, at least 80 proof, so at least 40% alcohol. Usually I would use 100 proof, so 50% alcohol. If you're making glycerites, especially for kids, then you're gonna wanna keep some vegetable glycerin on hand as well. Some other things, if you're looking to make salves, ointments, balms, you might want to look into beeswax and shea butter, other types of oils, maybe some essential oils if you would like to have some fragrance in there, some vitamin E oil for preserving those things. And if you think you're gonna be wanting to take herbs more in capsule form, perhaps a capsule maker would be useful. You can do it by hand, but it's very time consuming and very messy. Okay, last little bit of information here. If you're looking to start purchasing some herbs, I said the most cost-effective way is to purchase in bulk. It's gonna save you the most money. Bulk, 1 pound. There's a lot of herb material in here. I learned this the hard way. I had no idea what a pound of loose leaf matter would look like. It's a lot. I probably won't ever get through this. Depends on the herb though, like chamomile, sure, we could go through that pretty quickly. We drink a lot of chamomile tea. Herbs do have a shelf life, 1 to 2 years, depending on storage conditions. Not saying it's not useful after that, but it starts losing its effectiveness, its potency, all of the benefits in it just starts to degrade. You can extend that by tincturing it. The alcohol will preserve it, but I mean, there's only so much room in my house for tinctures and loose herbs. So keep that in mind when purchasing. Yes, it'll save you money, but we don't want to be wasteful. And it might not save money if you're just wasting it, if you catch my drift. So unless you know you're gonna be using a lot of it, or perhaps you have a friend or multiple friends you can go in with to split the cost, to split the herbs, I personally wouldn't be buying in these big bags. Unless you know you're gonna use it, I would just go for these smaller 4-ounce bags. Not as cheap, but then there's no waste, and you can kind of just get a feel for it and see how much you will use, and then maybe later on, you can upgrade to the bulk 1 pound massive bag of dried herbs. Okay, my friend, down in the description, you can find a whole bunch of things. I'm gonna link some resources, some of my favorite herbalists, their YouTube channels or their websites for you to check out. And I'll be sure to link as much as I can from today's video for you. Be on the lookout. I am going to film kind of a part 2 to this video. We're gonna go and tour my natural medicine cabinet, see what I have there, as well as all of the medical equipment or tools that I like to keep on hand to monitor my family's health. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down in the comments. I'd be happy to help you out. Otherwise, I love hearing from you. Thank you so much for taking some time to hang out with me. You have a blessed week, and I will see you next time. Take care.